Hi there guys, hope everyone is well and staying safe. Today we are taking a look at Dark World's Village of Fear. I believe it's the second expansion in the Dark World games. And one thing you might notice with the picture of the box I'm showing you here, this is the French version I have. The reason I have the French version is I picked it up on eBay and it was a lot cheaper than picking up the English version. I think I picked this up for about £80, if I remember rightly, and it's all complete. I think there might only be a couple of tiny little pieces missing, but everything else in the game is here. So yeah, today we're going to have a look at Village of Fear. So first of all, I will have to stand up for this. There's the board. Now it's about a third of the size of the main Dark World game. But just looking at the board now, everything's set up. I mean, it looks pretty impressive. Set up on the table. All the buildings, you've got the windmill there, then you've got the tavern, then if I spin round, excuse me, here, this is like the sort of town hall, village hall, 3 levels to that. Then in the middle we've got ruined building, and then another one here. But I mean, just the detail and the effort they've gone to, not only with the cardboard components. I mean, look at the sort of artwork on the side of the buildings and here on the town hall. How they've done the artwork, but also the moulded, the plastic parts. I mean, the detail on the roofing, and then you've got like the little weather vane on top here. And if we go over and have a look at the windmill, and they've done a really good job, put a lot of effort into this game. And then in the middle here, we've got this little sort of monument. Now this is like I think it was the Mace of Chaos in the original game. This is lets you know the turnarounds. So you shake it and the balls come out, so you've got red, yellow, green and blue, so that's to decide who has which turn. But then also one more building, which is sort of the objective of the game, is to get to the castle. So that's the castle, and I might as well show you him now because he's stood there ready. That's the warlord. He's like the big boss that you have to defeat at the end of the game. But yeah, just sort of, let's do a little bird's eye view. So you start over this side, make your way around the village, having to find equipment. And if you see in this room here, you have to find keys to actually get into the castle. There's these little markers in the buildings. But another good thing about this game is that once you actually get to this tavern here, you lift it up and you can see, so you have to go inside, possibly have to fight monsters, maybe pick up a key or a golden weapon. But also inside, I'll show you as well, they've done little bits of detailing inside the building. So it's not just the outside of the buildings and the cardboard that they've put detail. They've actually gone to the effort of detailing the inside of the buildings as well, which I think is a nice touch. And then also, if you come back to the town hall here, you lift that off, you could find a key inside there. And obviously if you pick the whole building up, you could go inside and find a key or a weapon, which is really nice. So now I think we'll move on to the minis. So again, with this game, you get four adventurers. You get the elf. So there's the elf character. Then you get, I believe this guy is the prince, like a sort of nobleman. That's the prince. Now this guy here is an adventurer, sort of soldier adventurer character. And then the final one, which is actually one of the pieces I'm missing the base. This guy is the monk. So you could play a monk character, which is pretty cool. And then with this game as well, there are a couple of actual villagers that you have to rescue, and they're here. They're like little halfling characters. You've got, this is the mayor that you have to rescue as you go around the game. And then the other one, I believe he is the baker. I think you find him, come on, focus. Come on. It's not happening. There we go. So he's like the little baker or miller character. And you find him, I think you find him in the windmill. Now, because this is the French version, I'm not completely up to date with the rules of this game. I've downloaded some off the internet, so I do have the rules in English, but I haven't really sat down and played it properly, completely. We just had a couple of quick games with me and my kids, but they just sort of more enjoy moving the characters around, exploring the buildings and doing that generally. Excuse me. But also, obviously with the game, you got the monsters. Got some really cool monsters. So you got a Minotaur. You got a couple of Minotaurs with the game. You get some were-rats, which we'll talk more about in a minute. Get a few were-rats. You get some of these Cobrans, which are like snake people, which are, I presume they're the sort of same species as Korak in the original Dark World game, because he's like a snake man, priest or wizard. So you get Cobrans. You've got some hobgoblins. You can see them a bit better. Actually, a lot of nice detail on these figures. Yeah, hobgoblins. And then there's a couple of special characters, monsters. You get the wolf, who sort of prowls around the board during the game, and he's quite a difficult character to defeat. Then you've got this huge guy here called the Lurker. Now I do know, like I said, I know most of the rules and sort of how the game's played, and apparently what you do and how you encounter this guy is once you get through the village, you hit the drawbridge, and you sort of have to make your way across the drawbridge to get to the castle to defeat the warlord. But on the drawbridge, if we go around the back here, there is this, whoever's playing the warlord has this tile, and you get a little mini version of the Lurker. So let's put them both side by side. So you can see, like, you get a little diddy little Lurker, and he stands on there. And what you have to do, as you're moving, the warlord character moves the Lurker, and if you walk onto the space that he is on, you have to then, I can't remember if you have to go back to the start of the drawbridge or whether you have to go right back to the start of the game. I can't remember. But if you manage to get across, I believe this is right, if you manage to get across and get to here without encountering the Lurker, that means that the big Lurker is now on the board, and then he gets to wander around and cause all sorts of havoc and mayhem, which is not ideal really for any adventurers that are still left wandering around the village. But yeah, so that's that piece. And then another special character or monster in the game is up here, the carrion bird. Now during the game, whoever is the warlord can control the bird and send it to land on top of any of the buildings. You can see the little hole there, and there's one on the chimney there, one there, there'll be one on the windmill, and one on top of this town hall here. So if that carrion is on that building, that means your adventurer can't enter that building that turn. I know that much. So that sort of makes it quite difficult if you're trying to get a golden weapon and get that extra dice in combat. That makes it quite tricky. And then another thing with this game, you see these little tunnels here? They're sort of dotted about the board. There's one over there. And I think there's one down there as well. That is the cave sort of tunnel system that could lead to where the Wereat's lair, which is just over to the side where the castle is, and you have to go down there, and you can draw these tunnel cards. So like that means, well, that's the card there. That means you've made it to the Wereat's lair. You have to fight 2 Wereats, and if you defeat them, you get a key or a golden weapon. That means while you're in the tunnels, you fight 1 Wereat. What else have we got? That means you get lost, so you have to miss a turn. Fight another Wereat. Fight 2 Wereats. And that one means you come out, so if you went in here, you could choose which exit you'd like to come out. So you could sort of end up all the way across the other side of the board if you wanted. With this game as well, there are other cards apart from the basic blocking and attacking cards, which help you in combat. You've got the Warlord's cards. So I think these sort of decide the Warlord's weaknesses in combat, and then you get these adventure cards. So I mean, if you draw one of these, you so you might get the wing boots, which give you an extra movement. You might have to lose one of your attack cards. What else have we got? Let's pick another one. More boots. Let's go to the middle of the deck. That means you trade weapons with another player. So say like someone's got a gold weapon and you haven't, you could swap it out, and then you get their gold weapon and they'd be stuck with a normal weapon. Yeah, so well, it's even though it's an expansion for Dark World, it is a game in itself. So you don't have to have Dark World to play this game. You could own this on its own, and you could just get the board out, and you can play a game, and it is really good. So, I mean, like I said, I haven't played it properly yet and used all the rules. We've just sort of been moving around, attacking, finding stuff, equipment and keys, trying to make it across the drawbridge and then fight the warlords. But like I said, I've got the rules in English now, so I will sit down properly and go through them and make sure we play the game properly. But I just sort of wanted to show you how good it looks, really. I mean, that is something quite impressive to have on the table. If you do, I mean, eventually, when everything goes back to normal and you invite some friends round, like your little gaming groups, or just a couple of friends or family, and say, right, we're going to play Village of Fear today, and they come in and see that on the table, hopefully they'll be quite impressed. And yeah, I mean, that is Village of Fear. Really nice looking game. Like I said, they've gone to a lot of effort with all the components and the miniatures and the artwork. I mean, look at the artwork on that box. I mean, you've got the elf there fighting a Cobran. You've got the other heroes in the background. I think that's the prince. Then you've got the monk and the adventurer there, tackling the Minotaur, and then that guy. There's the warlords, just watching from his tower, watching everything unfold. But yeah, it's a really good game. And I'm still on the lookout for the final expansion for this game, which is Dragon's Gate, because I don't own that yet. And it's quite hard to sort of find it. It does occasionally pop up on the sort of the second-hand market, but it's very expensive. But I am still keeping a lookout for it, and hopefully, maybe, towards the end of the year. I mean, my birthday's coming up in May, so fingers crossed. You never know. Hopefully I'll get that, and then I'll have all three games then. And then I can do one video where I've got all 3 boards set up on the table. I mean, you can see how much space that board alone takes up. So if you imagined that Dark World, the base game, was next to it, that would take up quite a lot of space. And then you sort of manage to fit Dragon's Gate in just in the end. But yeah, there we go, guys. That is Dark World Village of Fear. Hope you enjoyed the video. And hope everyone's staying safe out there, and you all take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.